What's up, YouTube? Not yet. Wait, is YouTube here now?
YouTube's here, but it's not live. Well, yeah, we're here. We're on.
We're here. I was
but
gonna
but
say
we're
now
gonna
we're all
start
thrown off. Now we're
now.
all thrown
Now
off.
we'll figure it out. But we're gonna start the pod. So
We're starting the podcast right now, YouTube. If you missed it, we just went live. That is why we're confused. So what we're gonna try to be doing is we're gonna be trying to go live and then jump on the podcast portion. So it's gonna look a little bit different, but hopefully that's a little bit more engaging to you. And we can just have fun just being live with you. And you can ask us questions in real time. It'll be
that's
great.
right, baby.
So we're going to start the podcast portion and the YouTube podcast portion as soon as Big Z is ready, and we'll go from there. Yes, what is up, everybody? We are back. It is your boys, the Brevity boys, Big Z. Say hi to the people.
What's up, people? Happy Sunday night. We're coming at you guys after all the football today with our reactions. We're here for you guys. Yeah, we're changing up a little bit.
Changing it up. Hopefully coming to you a little bit earlier in the week. You can hear our takes on it. You can hear what happened in the game.
Yeah.
We watch a ton of football. I'm not going to lie to you. We watch a lot of football.
We really started wanting to come to you guys on a Sunday night so you guys can listen to us on the terrible Mondays, right? Because you're going to work, you may have to be in traffic. It's just not fun. We're going to brighten your day. We're going to make your week start out right. Instead of ending your week, we're going to start your week. And we're going to see how it goes. So we're excited.
100%. And I also think like Fridays are just tough. Like Fridays to me is like a little bit more chaotic. Right. It's like I don't know that I necessarily listen to like a podcast on a Friday as I do consistently like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm like, let me get through the week. Like, let me do what I need to do. Like, I'm listening to this podcast because it's right here. You know what I mean? Yep. But like Mondays is like the perfect day, I feel. So let us know. Comment. Look, Big Z already just told you in our live. Comment. Okay. Comment and let us know.
So on the shorts that we're posting on YouTube, we're getting like good amount of comments. Like a lot of comments. And so I like it because we're coming back. And so that's really helpful. That's really helping us. I think we've gotten 16 subscribers in this last week. Which is crazy. Like the biggest growth we've seen. So yeah, we appreciate that. But comment on these pages, like these episodes, and talk to us about what we're talking about tonight. Answer back. We'd love to interact with you guys. It's fun. We want you guys to be part of this community.
We love doing the podcast. It's our time spending with each other. So this is like the most thorough that we get. This is the most us that we get. Like on the shorts, we're just hitting it and we're getting out. Like, hey, here's what it is. Here's what it is. Boom, I'm out. Here, like we're just chilling. Two guys not keeping it brevity at all. If you want to hear about our weeks and what we did on our YouTube, we just went live and we talked all about it. So go subscribe to that. I will let you know my son had a hard weekend. He got sick. He wanted to play in this tournament for like a month. He got sick, went down, and then played today and took the L. So hard weekend for my boy, but that builds character.
A warrior,
Big Z.
Bro. A warrior.
Builds character.
Yeah.
And you watch Chris's movies, so that's just a little inkling of what we did.
We did. We did. It was great. This season is upon us, and it's almost over. But it's still upon us. As of now, it's still upon us.
As of now, it's been upon me for the last 2 months, which Big Z hates, but it is what it is. Jumping right in the NFL, these teams secured the win. Just to give you kind of a rough roadmap of what we're doing tonight, we're talking about some NFL. We're going to jump into some fantasy football, just keeping it brief. We don't go super, super deep. So if you're like, I don't even play fantasy football, don't worry about it because we are also going to talk about some college football, some NHL, and we'll finish up strong with a little bit about the NBA. So, it is what it is. But the NFL, jumping right in, secured the W. Listen, a team that we thought was unbeatable at home was not only beaten at home, but they were sort of handled, Big Z. Like the Lions, they ended up getting it close right at the end. They scored. They tried the onside kick. They got it within one possession, but it wasn't actually that close to me.
You're right. I thought that way, like in the first half. Like I was like, wow, the Bills are really just handling their business. Like they are just like, it looks like the Lions are playing in Buffalo in a snowy atmosphere, and Jared Goff is just Jared Goffing it. But for how well the Bills played and how bad the Lions played, leading up to that fourth quarter, it's pretty amazing to me that the Lions got that close to it. And they were so close to actually getting that last onside kick. I think what actually ended up screwing them over is that they did the onside kick early in the fourth when they were down 10, and they decided to do that onside kick, and the Bills recovered it and ran it for 40 yards and then scored on the next play after that. I think that I was thinking to myself, like, if this is a preview of what the Super Bowl is going to be like, this would be one of the best Super Bowls. Like a high scoring, back and forth type of game. But you are right in the fact that after last week's loss, the Bills had against the Rams, like it was tough, right? Like they just they played really, really well on offense again this weekend. It was just a great comeback victory. To the way to kind of shore things up on offense at least. And Josh Allen, I think, again, secured his MVP. I think he did last week, but again, he did it with his legs. He did it with his arms. There's no stopping this guy. And the Lions defense, like that's a tough defense to play against. And Josh Allen just diced him up. And so, yeah, man, I think that the team to beat right now in the NFL. I truly do.
Yeah, the thing to me was that watching the Rams beat the Bills, I thought like, oh, this team is actually beatable, right? And I think tonight the Lions were finally exposed in the way that I've been semi-nervous about. And it was that nervousness of if you actually score on the Rams and you actually are on the Rams, if you actually score on the Lions and you put them on their heels and you make them have to score points, are they going to be able to keep up with the points that you're scoring? And I think tonight they found out that if their defense can't stop you, they're going to struggle. Their strength is them being able to control the game, control the clock. We get up. You don't lead us. We lead you. We give the ball to Montgomery and Gibbs, and they run all over you, and we win the game. We wear you down that way. And then we end up scoring a lot of points because once we wear you down that way, we hit Williams over the middle. We hit Amon-Ra over the middle. We hit Laporta over the middle, and we score all the points that we want. And tonight, I think you saw when they really, there was times where they didn't know what to do. Credit to Jared Goff. He did eventually settle in. He did settle in and start making some passes and making some good throws. He did settle in. Having said that, it just took him too long against this good of a team. And so this is an opportunity for him to, okay, you know what? When I play these teams, we are not just going to walk all over these teams. Right? These teams are going to come play, and we're going to have to beat them. We're going to have to beat them because I agree. The Bills, they look absolutely fantastic. I am a little bit worried. Josh Allen, I don't know if you saw the news that, and maybe something else came out, that he went in for x-rays. And literally my thought when he took a hit on like 10-yard line. And in my mind, I thought you can't take that hit. Right? He pulled the ball from James Cook, and James Cook probably gets about 5 yards. He keeps it and gets no yards and gets absolutely massacred by two cornerbacks on the outside. Land on him full force. And I'm like, that's not one you need to take.
Nope.
That's not one you need to take. And he's got, like, I get it. He's the MVP. That's his game style. That's what he does. But, like, at the end of the day, you've got to learn. Right? If you are going to keep it, it's because it's so obvious and there's space and you see it and you can score. But in that moment, it just felt like, dude, what were you thinking? I mean, they were so loaded up on the right side. Like, James Cook clearly had the angle. Just give him the ball.
Well, that's what we've been kind of calling for Josh Allen to stop doing, like in the past seasons, and and he kind of went away from that, this year. Like he ran, but when it was an opportune time to run, right? He didn't just run into someone just to bowl them over, right? Yeah. That looked like an older version of Josh Allen right there, and so 100%. Hopefully it didn't cost him, because it's definitely going to cost his team if he's out. Because I don't even know who's their backup quarterback. I don't even know.
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Probably your guy from Georgia, or
my guy from Georgia. Oh, Trubisky.
Oh, is it Trubisky?
It's Trubisky.
Okay, well, yeah. So it's going to
cost. I know, that's so funny to me, but it is. It's hilarious.
So hopefully it doesn't cost them or him, because like I said, I think that the team to beat right now.
Right. And they haven't updated it. All that we've heard is that he heads to the X-ray room. That's it. So we don't know anything else. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't cost them, because they are a really good team. And I'm a Rams fan, and I still think it would be fantastic to watch that. Yeah. So I would totally take that, because at the end of the day, like, we all talk about, oh, we like good defense, but we don't, right? Like, we watch the Super Bowl like 65-60. Like, let's get it. You know what I mean? Like, that's great. And then like pick sixes in there, Like 42-35 with 2 pick sixes. That way the defense showed up. They get to have a good day. They're not super mad at themselves, but everybody's just throwing the ball around the yard. Another team that is like unlike these teams, right? Because
Yeah.
I think the Lions and the Bills are above doubting at this
Oh
point,
yeah.
right? Like the
Totally.
Lions may have
Totally.
lost this
Yeah.
game, but it was surprising. And it was like, dude, are you gonna march into Detroit? I think the biggest thing and the reason teams like the Eagles are competing is because they don't want to have to go to Detroit. Like, I don't think anybody wants to have to go to Detroit in the playoffs. This team is actually kind of different. They clinched today, Big Z, and I'm talking about the Texans. They clinched today, but are they real? Right? Like they played a Miami team that honestly, I felt like Miami. Big Z, what do you think about this?
It didn't. It did not look smooth. CJ Stroud does not look like he's comfortable. Like he truly doesn't.
No.
He had like 160 yards passing.
Yeah.
He has his weapons back. He has Tank Dell. He has Nico Collins. He has Joe Mixon. They're all supposedly healthy. This team, at least on offense, it just does not look like it's gelling. There's something like I think he's definitely in a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
And I'd be worried if I'm the Texans. Like, yeah, they clinched a spot. They're gonna have a home playoff game because they clinched their division, which is good. And they're going to definitely need that home playoff game because it's going to be tough for them to go out into a cold weather stadium and to win a playoff game in the cold. So I don't believe in them. I think they've definitely regressed this year. Like there was so many high expectations that we had for them going into the season.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't believe in them right now.
They look so discombobulated, and it doesn't make sense because Nico's killing it. Nico Collins looks fantastic.
Right.
Nico Collins looks every bit of Nico Collins.
Yep.
You know, like he looks great. Like it is what it is. But even today, 4 for 6 only, 17 yards. And granted, the thing that saved me had 2 tutties. But like,
yeah,
that's a weird stat line for Nico Collins, right? Like it doesn't look fluid. They don't look great. And I think that's the problem. I literally commented on Twitter from our page, and we got a few likes on it. I commented when they posted they clinched, and I put the Key and Peele sketch where like the dude's sweating like profusely. He's like, I'm not nervous.
Yeah.
But he's like sweating like, and I literally just comment like every Texans fan going through this season right now because you don't know what you are. You have the pieces, right? Mixon is a dog. Nico Collins, dog, right? Like we know that. But can Stroud revert to what he was last year?
Yeah.
Can he get that swagger back? Can he get that confidence back? Because right now that's what it seems like his confidence and his swagger is a little bit rattled. That's what it seems like to me.
Yep. He's thinking.
He's
thinking every time he drops back. You're like, no, dude, just play. Just play. It's like when a pitcher, like a reliever comes in and he just starts missing and like he's trying to aim to get a strike. It's like, no, man, like just throw the ball.
Dude, it's like Grayson's game today, right? So it's travel ball, USSSA, high scoring. I'm not going to pretend like this is a normal score, but they ended up losing the game. Like I think it was 21-12. Okay.
Oh my, wow.
And yeah, it was like a football game. And literally, they gave the game away. I mean, there was so many errors.
Yeah,
it was out of control. Like they weren't aggressive on the base paths. Like nothing was going their way. And it was one of those things. Like, is this team good that just beat us? Like probably not. Like they probably lost their next game. Like shout out to them. They beat this team. They beat my son's team. Like they did it right. Nobody's trying to take that from them. But like I'm watching this, I'm like, I think both of us probably get mopped by the next team the way we're playing right now. Like it just wasn't good. Right. Like it wasn't like there was a pure winner. And that's what I felt like watching this Texans and this Miami team. Is it just felt like no one wanted to win. And I get it. Everybody's talking about, D'Amico Ryans, and he's so familiar with McDaniels, and they know each other and the systems. That is not an excuse.
Right.
It's not an excuse. You've got to find a way to win games, right? If you're the Dolphins, this was huge for you.
Yeah, I think
we talked about it. This was big.
I mean, they're not. I don't think they're mathematically out of the playoffs, but they're pretty much out of the playoffs at this point. Like you got to go in, man. Like we talked about this last week. Like this is a gift. Like you're not playing in the snow. Nope. Like you're playing in a controlled environment. Like that's what you like. That's how you thrive. And they go in, especially with this high-powered offense. Tua, everyone's healthy, and it's a dud. Like Tyreek Hill just looked terrible. Jalen Waddle gets hurt. Achane just doesn't look like I think we talked about it. Achane's not like a number one stud like a Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley.
No.
I think the $55 million that you gave Tua, it doesn't look good right now. It truly does. I think they've plateaued. right? Like we know what they are when they're at their best. And that's like a 10-win team, 11-win team at best. And they're going to get bounced in the first or second round of the playoffs. I truly think, unless you get off of Tua.
Right. Yeah. No,
And
100%,
maybe
man.
even McDaniel, man. I don't know. Like, you just, even his offense, it just doesn't look like it's flowing. And
But
like,
the thing is,
he's
he's
supposedly a
supposed to be this guru,
mastermind.
right? He's
Right.
supposedly
Yeah.
this guru. Like we'll talk about the. I'm not going to say it. We'll talk about this game in a second. Before we get there, let's talk about it. It's our podcast. We'll do what we want. As the kids say, Rams, bang bang. Right? Is that not what the kids say, Big Z? I was told that's what the kids say.
Bang, bang, Niner gang. Did not
That's
happen.
that's what it's supposed to be. But so the reason I bring up this matchup is like these were two
Right.
coaches that are supposed
Kyle,
to be
yeah.
these offensive masterminds, these offensive juggernauts. But and I'm not gonna sit here and say there's like this is like a super valid case because you need to be able to win. But like it was raining pretty hard, and I feel like when it starts raining pretty hard, like things are already not going your way. Balls start to get dropped, things get slick. Like you do have to find a way to have a better offense than either of these teams did. But
Yeah.
at least there was a reason that you could see. Like at least I could look and say like, okay, tangibly, like the ball is super wet. It's not. This isn't going great for them, and these two teams do know each other really well. And the Texans and the Dolphins, it's not like they play like all like the like. I don't think it's a good comparison for these two teams when they're in a dome, right? We just saw the Rams play at home in a dome, and they went all over the Bills. Are we saying that the Niners are a better team than the Bills? No, of course not.
No.
But in the elements, in the outside, the great outside, as we call it, Big Z, it made more sense. This was a grind out game. It was super wet. All of a sudden, the mud, guys are slipping, guys are sliding, guys are falling.
Game. Yeah.
Divisional rivalry. It's like it just made sense that it was a lower scoring game. I didn't see that for the Houston. I honestly wanted more from both those teams. That's the point of it. I wanted more from both those teams. I wanted the Texans to show me they could hang up 35 on an okay Dolphins team, and I wanted the Dolphins team. I wanted the Dolphins team to show me that they wanted to be there. But as I just mentioned, the Rams did go to San Francisco. They get a huge. When we talked about this was a must win for both teams. This was a big game
it
for
was.
both teams, and you could. But it felt like it. It felt like both teams were struggling. I mean, both teams were grinding. Both teams were doing whatever they could. And I got to ask you, Big Z, as a big Niner fan, right? One of your players comes out and says, like, I need to get the ball more. He got the ball more, and it did not go well for him, man. Deebo Samuel, give me your thoughts. Just like, point blank, give me your thoughts on this guy.
Like you're talking about Kyle and like him being like an offensive mastermind. The dude totally was just like, fine, we will just do whatever you want, Deebo. Like we will just give you the ball. We will force feed you the ball, even if it's not there. Brock, give him the ball. And that is the whole game. The whole game. They were just trying to force him the ball when Deebo clearly does not have it anymore. He just does not have it. I don't know.
No.
I don't know why he came out and said what he said about, I'm just not getting the ball. I'm not struggling. I'm just not getting the ball. The dude is second in the team in touches. Second. And also has the most drops on the teams going into the game. So I don't know where he got that stat and what he was talking about. And then fine, whatever. So if you're going to talk a big game, then you got to back it up with your play. Yeah. And he didn't. He had a wide open, a great pass from Brock. It was leading him, wasn't behind him on a slant, and he would have scored the touchdown. It would have been a 25-yard touchdown. If he gets that, they probably win the game.
Right.
Yeah, they had to settle for a field goal. He dropped so many passes. He tackled Isaac Orendo because he just didn't his timing was off. He just doesn't look like
that was so embarrassing.
Doesn't look like his head is there. And so when you're talking about Kyle and like his offensive schemes, I just think that he was like, I gotta cater to my superstar. I don't want this drama. I just want to shut it off. Like I'm just gonna do whatever I need to do to make him happy. And that was a mistake. As a head coach, like you got to be above that. Like you're being paid the big bucks. You got to say, I'm going to squash this. Like I'm going to let Brock do his thing. Because Brock, obviously, he wasn't comfortable. Like, so who's the guy this year? It's Jawan Jennings. Right. It's Garendo. Like Garendo's great since he's come onto the scene. So stop catering to these guys. Like it's all started. This whole season started with the bad juju from the Brian and Ayuk drama. Like get off of these Devo wide receivers. Like it's so annoying to me. And like in our season's over. Like they have a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. But credit to the Rams. Like when you had to make the big play, Matthew Stafford made the big play. and they finished them off. So kudos to you guys. You're the best team in the NFC West for sure.
I
Like
love it.
if you guys get in the playoffs, I think you're dangerous. I don't think anyone else in the NFC West is.
No, it's true, and I think you made some really valid points, Bixie. I know that like your passion's obviously coming through. So somebody might say like, oh, he's just being a Niner fan, but I think there's so much in there that is accurate, like in terms of like the Deebo Samuel stuff, like that drop that he had. I mean, that changes the game. That changes the entire complexion of the game. And honestly, as a Rams fan, I have to say, when I sat there and I'm watching this game, and instead of giving the ball to Alex Correndo or even having him on the field, when Deebo Samuel was in the backfield, I'm like, oh, we're good. Like, oh, we're total. And as soon as he took it, like the first hit, he went down. Like first contact, down. And like I knew that. Right? Garindo would make a dude miss, give a little shimmy, go through the hole, hit it hard. Like he just looked so much better. So when Shanahan pulled him, I'm like, thank you. Like question, like, are you helping us? Like, what's happening? And so I totally agree. I thought that was so weird, that their game plan, was what it was. And we've seen it from guys in the past, but like most recently, when you do bark, right? When you do squeak, man, when you get that oil, you better roll, baby. And that's what we see from a dude like AJ Brown, right? Like like the Eagles rolled against Steelers, right? They rolled.
Right.
AJ Brown, 110 yards, 1 TD. He's like, dude, just feed me the rock. I got you. And he showed it. Right. Deebo, success in this game had to be at least 100 yards and a tutty. Like that is your success in this game. And that is the workload that they gave him. Right. They were even using him as a running back. Like, fine, you want the rock? We'll give you the rock. We'll find any way we can to give you the rock. And I think it was a detriment. 100% Big Z.
Yep.
I think you're totally right. And like you said, when Juwan Jennings isn't the guy getting the ball the most amongst your receivers, it's a mistake.
Yep.
I mean, he's absolutely incredible. He's been incredible. Right. Like, it's just a mistake, dude.
Totally. Yeah. This is annoying.
It's just
annoying.
Poor Big Z. Annoying. It was a season with so much promise.
I mean, it's been a long season for the Niners. Like off the field, like they've had some players have lost a lot. Like that's maybe on sports.
Yeah.
And then also you bring in all the other drama with all these Ayuk and Deebo, and there's just and I think playing so many playoff games so many years in a row, I also think that takes a toll on a team, like physically, emotionally. And I just think it all came to a head this year. But like all this talk about getting rid of Kyle Shanahan, like it's like, who are you going to get? Who's better than Kyle Shanahan? Like who on the open market is better than Kyle Shanahan? Like, stop it. So, I think they retool a little bit next year. They'll be back. They'll be fine.
Right. They'll be okay.
Yeah.
100%, man. They'll be just fine. Yeah. I just thought it was crazy to watch Deebo get the ball that much. And then another team that rolled, and they didn't even start him in a couple of leagues. Baker Mayfield, man. A lot of people thought the Chargers were going to slow his team down. They didn't. The Bucks rolled. They look real to me.
Man.
They're going to beat the Falcons out for this division, and I'm really happy about it.
Looks like it now. Yeah,
I'm really happy about it.
It truly looks like it.
I'm really happy about it. Good for Baker. I mean, the hardest thing for them is that for whatever reason they have 2 head-to-head losses against the Falcons.
Yeah.
How did you even do this? Like, you're such a better team than they are. Like,
it's a divisional game, man. It's a divisional game. It happens all the time.
All I'm saying is they got the Cowboys, the Panthers, and the Saints.
Right.
So they have a very winnable schedule. There's no reason you can't roll this. There's no reason you can't run this. Like, do what you got to do, get in the playoffs. Because I think this is a fun playoff team. Right? Like Mike Evans, Bucky Irving. There's a lot of really fun stories.
Right.
Just
the ageless wonder, Mike Evans.
he just
keeps producing, man.
He just is.
Every single fantasy draft I'm in every year, like the past 6 years, I'm like, nah, he's too old now. Like, it's Mike Evans. Nope. Always proves me wrong every single year. So shout out to that guy. And Baker Mayfield, like you mentioned, I know we've talked about him. You guys probably, they love Baker. Like, yeah, we do. We do. Truly love Baker, and we're 100%. Truly happy for Baker Mayfield because he was just crapped on for so much of his career, and he's finally found a home. And you can tell he's just playing the game of football that he loves. Like, there's just no pressure. 100%. He has nothing to lose, man. And it's just so fun to watch. And they're right. The Chargers defense is one of the top defenses in the league. And they go into LA and they shred that defense. They shred that. That did not look like a Jim Harbaugh defense. No. And that was just a fun fun game to watch. So congrats to the Bucks, man. I think they take the division too.
100%. And the thing on the Falcon side, right? They play the Raiders, the Giants, the Commanders, and the Panthers. And honestly, you could see them losing any of those games. Like the way that they're playing, it's like, oh yeah, no. Like you read the Bucks schedule, it's like, oh, you guys are going to win out. You read the Falcon schedule, it's like, oh, you guys are playing bad. So you could actually lose all of those games. It's possible. I'm not saying they will, but they could lose.
It's possible. Yeah.
So Bucks, keep rolling. We're rooting for you, Baker. Love you. Looking, and then obviously, those are the guys who secured the W. There are some teams that secured the L, right? Some teams that really, really did not do well, right? So I got to start right here. When we've talked about this in the past, so I don't want anybody to misconstrue or to think that we're talking about this like differently. Okay, when we talked about teams going into Kansas City and needing to go for it, a 2-point conversion to win the game, it's because you're in Arrowhead, right? You're in their home, like you're there and you're competing, and this is your moment. Like you have all the momentum, just go for it. And if you lose, you lose. But the last thing you want to do is take the Chiefs to overtime. And Patrick Mahomes steals the possession, and you never get to see the ball. Like it happens time and time and time again.
Yep.
The Saints, they come all the way back on the Manders. They have all of the momentum. Spencer Rattler actually looked remotely efficient during this game for a few drives. You're like, wow, maybe this kid is going to be okay. Maybe they didn't make this mistake. I've always sort of liked Spencer Rattler, even from college of South Carolina. Right. But again, I think people started to see what I had seen, that, you know, he can be, he's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot to hone, but he can be a good quarterback. Anyway, they come all the way back and then decide we're going for it. We're going for 2. We're going for it right now. Like, wait a minute. You're at home. You don't need to do this. Just kick the field goal and take the Commanders to overtime. They're reeling. Their offense did not look the same at all in the second half, nearly the same as it did in the first half. You got all the momentum. You just drove the ball 80 yards, score a touchdown. You converted it multiple fourth downs. Like I didn't get it, Big Z. Like
I mean, I think that comes down to like coaching. Like I think it's an interim coach first time, you know, like, so I think probably got in a little over his head and like, oh, the analytics say like, you know, go for it in this. And again, like that stuff kind of comes back to bite you in the butt sometimes if you don't really understand what you're reading. And so, I 100% agree with you. You're at home. You have the momentum on your side that whole second half. Like you're coming back. Take the tie. Take the game to overtime. You're probably going to stop the Commanders if they get the ball. And even if you don't, you probably hold them to a field goal, and then you have a chance to go back down and tie it or win it at the end of overtime. So, weird decision, man. Just sometimes you're just left scratching your head when you're on the couch. You're like, do you think, like, if I put the headset on, like, I would have made a better call? Like, you know, like you truly ask yourself, like, and you start really convincing yourself, maybe I could be an NFL head coach. But like in that situation, you're like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You're not the Lions, right? If you want to crap on Dan Campbell for going for it on 4th down, there's no other team in the NFL that is Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Montgomery and Laporta and Williams. Like they have so many weapons. When they go for it on 4th down, it's like, what are they going to do? They could do any number of things. They could give it to any one of their 7 playmakers. Like they are so good. That is not the same situation. It's like, dude, you already pulled off the miraculous. Like you already pulled all the tricks out. You've already pulled everything out of the bag, of the magic bag that you have. You've done it. Like you pulled everything out of the hat to get this drive. Like just reset, take this thing to overtime, and let's see what happens. I just didn't like it. I hated it.
They would have been 2 games back in the division if they won. Like,
they're right there.
Yeah, they're right there. I don't,
especially with that much on the line. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's
you
not
have
like
that much on the line.
Like you're fighting for like the 1st round pick. Like you're just gonna get a middle of the pack pick. Like I don't know, man. It's
terrible
scratching for sure.
Tell you who else is terrible, man. It's time to talk about it. We talked about it. We've been talking about it. Listen, saw it today. Colts and Broncos. The Colts are in trouble, man. They have some real issues.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor let me just say, Jonathan Taylor made a bad mistake. Okay. He breaks out this massive run. It was going to be like a 60-yard TD, and he fumbles it like right in front of the goal line. He lets the ball go a little bit early. We've seen guys do it, and then he's benched. Like he's benched for like multiple quarters. Coach is like, you go sit over there. Like, I don't even want to look at you.
Right.
And I'm like, listen, dude, I get it. I get you're a head coach, and you got to make a statement. Sit him for a drive. Sit him for 2 drives.
Yeah.
But in the 4th quarter, how do you not have Jonathan Taylor out there?
Right. Like he's your best player. Like
he's your best player. And after that, like they never scored. You look at it. They scored They scored in the 1st. They scored in the second. The third and the fourth, they didn't score. Like at some point, you got to let John, and he still led, he had 22 carries for 170 yards. He still was out there. But again, like towards the end, it just wasn't him. Maybe that's part of the game plan. I get it. Maybe it's part of the game plan. But again, when you're the Colts, to me, you're not focused on this year. To me.
Yeah.
You're focused on the development. The development says we need Jonathan Taylor to be the back. So Anthony Richardson is learning how to run a proper NFL system because right now he can't.
Yeah.
So you have to have this guy out there. And I don't care if you're down by 15. I don't care. I don't care if you're down by whatever you're down by. It doesn't matter. Your game plan does not change. The same thing we're talking about with the Patriots last week. Your game plan does not change. You are not playing for this year. If you want to think you're playing for this year, that's fantastic. And you continue hanging out with Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, and all the other very real fairy tales that we tell all of our kids are very real. They are real, by the way. Santa Claus is coming.
Santa, what are you talking about, bro? I thought Santa was real.
He is real. He is real. 100%. I'm saying he's real. And I'm saying you should keep hanging out with these very real individuals because at the end of the day, at some point, you got to wake up and smell reality. You're not doing anything this year. Your game plan should not change. If you're down by 14, it is irrelevant to you. Jonathan Taylor should still get the ball on the drive. It's not all of a sudden, okay, we're going empty outs. We're going empty 4 receivers wide. No. You are looking towards next year unless you are really going to move off.
Look at this. Just real quick. Like, this is in the fourth quarter. Once Jonathan Taylor goes out, look at the win probability. Like, it just so, I guess how to share that. Yeah, man, I 100% agree with you. Like, this is a year that you're developing Anthony Richardson. Like, he's missed enough time. He's finally healthy. Have him run the offense with the guys that are going to be on the team next year. Pittman's going to be there next year. Jonathan Taylor's going to be there next year. And for this guy to be successful, you need to have your best players on the team surrounding him.
Playmakers.
Like, stop. I hate like this weird notion that, you mess up, we're hard-nosed football, old school coach, you're going to sit down. Like we talked about with the Patriots way. Jerron Mayo benching Stevenson. What are you doing? Like, don't you want Drake May to develop into being the best quarterback that he could be? He needs Stevenson behind him. This is the same exact scenario with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor. You need him. He needs them so badly. Anthony Richardson, if you put the ball into his court and make him win the game for you, he's going to end up throwing 17 to 38, under 200 yards and 2 interceptions because that's who he is. Because he doesn't have anyone else behind him. So you're just putting your quarterback out there to fail. Like, you're just throwing it in the fire, and there's no hose behind him dousing those flames. And that's Jonathan Taylor. He's on the bench. So, yeah, man, 100% agree with you. It's a terrible coaching move by Sykin.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And all you're doing is hurting your own team. Like, man,
it hurts his confidence. Your quarterback's confidence. Yeah.
Just stop it. It doesn't make sense. And one of the best examples of this is Kyren Williams. You just watched him. Like, there's no comparison between Corum and Kyren Williams. Yeah. Kyren Williams is so much more explosive. He's so much more elusive. What's his one flaw? He's put the ball on the ground a lot. Could you imagine if Sean McVay was like, nope, we're going to punish you. We're not going to use you at all. Like, that's not what he did. He's like, Kyren, I know you just fumbled, but I need you, pal. Yep. I need you. And there's one coaching style that I think does work benefit. And, and I get it. They're professionals. So, obviously they're going to be a little bit more hard-nosed. They're going to treat their players a little bit differently. But one of my favorite things to tell the kids when I'm coaching Little League is we do not have time to worry about your mistakes.
Right.
We don't have time for it. The next play is already starting. We don't, we can sit here and we can dwell on it, or you can just I know you can make the play. I know you can do it. Just keep going. And those are the NFL coaches to me that are excelling right now in the NFL. Hey, dude, I know you fumbled. We don't have time to worry about it.
Yep.
You're better than that. You know it. I know it. Get back out there.
Yep.
Like, let's do it. We need you. We need you to be good. So these teams that keep, talk about Anthony Richardson, man. Bo Nix threw 3 interceptions in this game. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Bo Nix had a great game. I'm not going to do it because I watched the game, a lot of the game. Bo Nix inexplicably looked bad. Like, he overthrew all 3 interceptions. I think were like, well, one of them was a tip ball that probably should have been caught, but 2 of them were like overthrows. That were like, what were you doing, dude? Like, your mechanics were off. You set your feet wrong. Like, what are you doing? And you saw it. Like, he stopped moving his feet a little bit at times and was like, he kind of reverted a little bit back to what we saw at the beginning of the year. He didn't look nearly as strong. I don't know what was going on or what threw him off his game, but he looked a little bit more to me like he did at the start of the year. Having said that, he also threw 3 touchdowns, right? So when push came to shove, like, hey, buddy, we got to win the game. He's like, cool, 3 tutties, no problem. Got you, fam. Like, he was able to turn it around, turn it on, get the team the W. Anthony Richardson, I don't know if you watched this game, Big Z, but his interceptions they're bad. They're bad. Like
atrocious. I mean, yeah.
I like at least with Bo Nix's interceptions, I could see what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, okay,
Well,
that safety baited you into that throw. He got you. Oh, okay, that ball sailed on you. I get it. With Andy Richardson, there's throws that are like, what
that's been
were
his
you
whole
looking at?
I mean, he was like that in college. Like we talked
Right.
about it. Like he didn't even play a good quarterback at Florida.
Right.
Like he should not have been drafted that high by the Colts. Like
Yep.
we don't know what the Colts were thinking. Like, and we're not trying to bash on Anthony Richardson, but like, look at the tape. Like if you look at tape, like any pro NFL player who watches tape or any Hall of Fame guy who like analyzes stuff, they're probably going to agree with us. Like he just is not an NFL quarterback. Like that is not his strong suit. Is not passing the ball, right?
No.
And yeah, he misses guys. He overthrows guys. Like it's just not like there's interceptions. Like okay, like you said, there's just bad. Like oh, what are you thinking? Like what is going on?
What were
Like
you even doing?
what did you see?
Right.
Like what is in your vision right now? And yeah, man, like and that's Anthony. That's where he's at right now.
And the
Not
problem,
to say he can't improve, but
no, 100%. And that, see, again, this is the ultimate point in this game. You are not worried about this year. Stop
right,
worrying about this year. You're not worried about it. Okay.
right,
Your quarterback needs to develop. He needs to grow. He needs to learn. Let him learn. Let him grow. It doesn't matter if you lose by 40. Run the
right.
same freaking offense. Okay.
Yep.
If this is your guy, this is a take that's technically pro Anthony Richardson. I'm sitting here telling you, like, this could be your guy. We don't know what he's going to be. He could develop. He could learn. He could learn to be a more accurate passer. I do believe that. Look at Lamar. Lamar is such a better passer right now than when he entered the league. It's not even close. It's night and day. Having said that, run the same system. Do not put it all on this kid to figure it out and run empty backfields. It's not going to work out.
Right.
Last game of this week that we want to talk about, want to touch on, Steelers get beat. I mean, they didn't just lose. They got beat. And here's the crazy part. Saquon Barkley had a terrible game. Like where Josh Allen won the MVP, I think Saquon Barkley lost the MVP this week with his performance. Because contrary to everything you and I have been saying, which I still believe, I still don't think that they win without Saquon. I think that Saquon does give them such a, you still have to worry about Saquon, right? You can never not worry about Saquon. So I want to be clear. I still don't think they're the same team.
Yeah, the Steelers did worry about Saquon, and I think they stopped him, but they forgot you have AJ Brown and Devonta Smith on both sides, and they didn't really game plan for that.
And they killed him. They killed him.
They killed both of them. Yeah.
Were the Steelers exposed, or are the Eagles just this good?
I think it's a little of both. I think the Eagles we're on like an emotional roller coaster this week. Again, kind of like the Debo thing, except this time, like they actually went out and they proved all the haters wrong. Like, we're good. Don't worry about it. Like we're good. We're fine. So they came out there to prove that they're great and that they want to be the best team in the NFC. I think it's tough going on the road. Steelers, when you're winning all these games, you get these expectations. Like you're supposed to be in every game. You're supposed to be the best. Like you're supposed to hit that team first. Yep. And sometimes you just have a bad day. And I honestly think they just had a bad day. They don't look that bad. I heard people saying, "Oh, go back to Justin Fields." Really? Like, yeah, Russell Wilson has one bad game, and you were saying, "Let's go back to Justin Fields," who couldn't drive the team down. Like our kickers had to win the game for us. Yeah. Like, no, you're not there yet. Russell Wilson has gotten you to this point to where those expectations are so high that people expect them to win every single game and to blow people out. No, stop it. Stop. Like they're going to regroup. They'll be fine. It'll be a big test for them against the Ravens next week. That will be kind of the litmus test where they're actually at. I don't think this game has told more about the Eagles and who they are than who the Steelers are, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree more. My answer to this was the Eagles are just that good. And I think the Eagles are that good. I think they are a better football team than the Steelers. I will also say, I think this game did highlight how much the Steelers need Pickens. They really, really miss Pickens against elite teams, which makes sense. It's their wide receiver one. They missed him today. It showed. Nobody else was able to step up, but I do think the Eagles are just that good. Looking on ahead, Big Z, we got Monday night. We got two games. We got the Bears and the Vikings, the Falcons and the Raiders. Who we got? I'll go first. Throwing it out there.
Yep.
This is going to be a shock and take, Big Z. All right, are you ready for this?
Oh gosh, tell me.
Vikings are going to beat the Bears. I know it's hard to believe because I was told, Big Z,
That's
I was told that the Bears were going to be unstoppable. they were going to be the playoff team.
Yeah.
They were going to run away with their division. That's what I was told, Big Z. And I believe that came true, right? That's what's happening. It must be, because that's what everyone said. So I'm going for the upset, Big Z. I'm taking the Vikings.
That's a bold pick, man. Bold pick. But I'm gonna have to hop on the train with you there. That's a tough one. But yeah, I think we can win some money there if we were betting, guys. I think we're gonna get the upset in that one. I'm also going. I think the Raiders, man. I think Bowers is gonna have a great game. I think that the Falcons are just in disarray right now. I do think that Captain Kirk comes out and throws 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think that it's just going to be like an offensive shootout. I truly do. But the Raiders are going to somehow come out on top.
I took the Falcons, and I only took the Falcons because I think this is a game that they realize they have to win.
They have to win.
I think that they're looking at their schedule that I just read out a few moments ago, and they're thinking, like, we got to beat this Raiders team. Like, we cannot lose this game. So I do think the Falcons win, but I also think that the Raiders are not a real football team right now. I mean, they just lost Max Crosby. Like, that's it. That's it. Like,
right.
I think the Falcons find a way to win this game. But and again, the Bears fans, I'm not even trying to hate. I'm really not. I know it sounds like I'm trying to hate. I'm not trying to hate. I wanted you to have realistic expectations, and you didn't listen to me. I wanted realistic expectations for the season, and no one listened to me besides Big Z. Big Z is forced to listen to me because we're on a podcast together. And we sat here and I said, listen, if you finish above 500, if you finish at 9-8, like, this is a great season for you. And everybody's like, no, you're a hater. Okay. And now all of a sudden, what is it? Oh, Caleb Williams needs help. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure there'll be a new excuse next year when it doesn't work out yet again.
Yep.
You'll find something. Next week's big games, Big Z, beyond Monday night. Next week, looking ahead, we got the Broncos and the Chargers. To me, Big Z, it's sort of like we talked about. Chargers got to find a way. They look bad. They've been trounced 2 weeks in a row. They clearly missed Dobbins. I don't think anyone understood what Dobbins meant to this Chargers team until now. They've got to find a way to compete against a very good Broncos team.
Well, I think this is for the playoff spots up for grabs here. Like, whoever wins this is probably going on to the playoffs. It's going to take the wild card. So I think it's 100%. Like, you're at home. I mean, I think that Broncos fans are going to probably sell that place out, but still, you're in like a friendly, weather environment. At least it's controlled there when it comes to the Chargers. But this is the game. This is exactly why you brought Jim Harbaugh in, right? To kind of talk to the guys, set the expectation, set the tone, though, right? Like, let's not all be all super anxious. Like, the Chargers have been here before multiple years. Like, we've seen these Charger versions of them, and they always flail out, right? And so this is why you spent the big bucks to bring Harbaugh in. So I think it's a good game. I'm going to take the Chargers in it, but yeah, I think it's a great Thursday night matchup, great interdivisional matchup for a playoff spot.
And I don't know that I take them to win the game, but I want them to at least compete. That's what I'm looking for from the Chargers, because I think when you look at the standings, right, you're seeing that the Broncos right now are 9-5, the Chargers are 8-6, and then behind them is the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Bengals, all at 6-8. So the Chargers are thinking all we need to do is not lose out. And I don't think they will, right? They have the Patriots and then they have the Raiders. I think they win one, if not both of those games. Having said that, I think this is the last litmus test you have before the playoffs. So if I am a Charger fan, I want them to compete. Not because, we're going to be eliminated and it's all over and I need to panic if they lose this week, but because this is your last real good team that you're playing. The Patriots are not a playoff team. The Raiders are not a playoff team. That's obvious. They've already been eliminated. This is the last time you get to play a playoff-ready team and really test yourself in enemy territory. You've got to find a way to compete in this game and at least make it competitive. You lose by a field goal, so be it. Maybe a touchdown, I can understand it, but it's got to be close. You've got to be able to keep up. You've got to score. You're playing a rookie quarterback. I do love me some Bo Nix. Everybody knows that. It's not a secret. But you're playing a rookie quarterback. You've got to find a way to compete.
I don't know, bro. You got to win. Like, I don't know. Like, that's what Harbaugh's there for. Like, I don't know. Like, you and then, like, if like people say, well, they lost to playoff contending teams, but they can only beat the Raiders, like, and the Patriots. Well, okay, then you're just gonna fly out in the playoffs. Like, I don't know. You gotta win this game. Like, I
agree.
Like, you can't lose by a field goal. Like
I
you
like
have to
it.
win this game.
I like it. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. I think you got to win this
Yeah.
game. I think you got to find a way. I like it. I don't think they will because my boy Bo Nix is the real deal. And
Yeah.
honestly,
Looks good.
personally, biasly, wouldn't hate seeing the Bengals just throwing piss missiles around the yard in the playoffs. Like they'd be fun to watch.
That'd be fun. That'd be
They
fun.
have no defense. But could you imagine them playing like that poor AFC team where the Bengals are coming in with nothing to lose,
Yeah, it's
literally
just
nothing to lose. Like they just squeaked in, like 9-8, like just right there.
that'd be great.
That'd
That'd
be
be
so
great.
cool. That'd be so cool. That's selfish though. Texas and Manders, look, period. Texas and Manders to me, Big Z, when I wrote this down in our little notes, I was like, listen, this is proving time. Okay. Texans take the Chiefs, Manders take the Eagles, and Big Z, I gotta tell you, we talked about it already with the Texans, right? We've already touched on it, right? They do not look right. But with the Manders, I think they're in just as much, if not more trouble. You look at their season. This is real quick, looking at the Manders, okay? They lose to the Buccaneers. They beat the Giants, the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Browns. The only team that's even remotely close to the playoffs right now, the Bengals are technically in contention, not really. And then the Cardinals are technically in contention, but they're also like trending the wrong way. Like we've seen them, they're losing games. It's not great. I think they did finally win today, but this neither here nor there. They lose to the Ravens, right? That's a good team. They beat the Panthers, the Bears, the Giants. Bad teams, right? Like we already know. And this is not even the Panthers of like right now. This is the Panthers of early season. Think back to the Panthers like a couple weeks ago. Super bad. Then what happens? They lose to the Steelers, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. And the Cowboys aren't great, right? Nobody's going to sit here and say the Cowboys are amazing. But again, losing the Steelers and the Eagles and the Cowboys, they beat the Titans and the Saints, both bad teams. Both teams not going to the playoffs. If you are the Manders, I feel like as a fan, right? After this game, you have the Falcons and the Cowboys. It's almost the same thing as the Chargers, Big Z.
Yeah.
Don't you want a win against a playoff team before the playoffs?
Well, yeah, and it's a divisional matchup too. So like you always want to beat the Eagles just because like, you hate the Eagles because you know them so well.
Right.
But last time you played the Eagles in Philadelphia, you only lost by 8. Right?
Yeah.
Like it was a competitive game. So yeah, now you're in the friendly confines of FedEx Field. It's a prove it game. Like it, of course, like different expectations here because like Jaden Daniels is a rookie. Dan Quinn's, like this is his first year as a coach for this team. No one besides us, no one thought that they would be this good, right? This fast. But now you have the expectations. Like you are expected to make the playoffs.
Right.
So yes, you do have to win this game. You have to, or else your fans are gonna be freaking out. Like, we're happy we made the playoffs, but like you want more than just making the playoffs, right? You don't want to be just like you want to get a couple wins. So yeah,
I don't know the numbers on it, but I can't imagine that teams who have not beaten a single playoff team before going into the playoffs have ever done historically well in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I don't see that as a reality.
Right.
I just don't.
From saying it, it doesn't make sense that any team would be successful. Just be able to flip the switch. Right. The only one maybe is like that one Seahawks team that like finished below 500, but they won the division.
The groundquake.
And then they beat the Saints in the first round in Seattle. That may be like the only team potentially. Other than that, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's fair. And that was just Marshawn Lynch just going full beast mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Did they lose in the next round too?
They did.
I mean, they did. They at least won one, but again, it's are you going to do well? And the Texans, again, we already touched on them. Texans fans, it's just not real. It's just not real yet. But you have a chance. You have an opportunity. You get to go play the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes. They may not even have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Right. He just got injured, so you got to win this game, man. Especially if they don't have Patrick. If you lose to a Patrick, if you lose to a Mahomes-less team,
to Wentz,
come on, son.
Come on,
you gotta win this game. Come on, son.
The
Steelers and the Ravens battle for supremacy. This feels like a gladiator match, dude. This feels like the Gladiator movie could have had this to start. Like these are two teams, right? The Ravens have lost more than they thought they would, right? Because they looked unbeatable for a second, and now all of a sudden it's like, no, they're doing well, but are they as untouchable? No, they're 9-5, right? And the Steelers just got pooted on, real bad, right? By the Eagles, like we said, they had a bad game. We're not freaking out, but either of these teams, if all of a sudden, hey, we lose this game, I mean, and this is the rivalry. This is a big rivalry. The Ravens, the Steelers, this is a big rivalry. So, I feel like both teams got to win this game, Big Z.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Lamar Jackson, like this is where you got to show up. Like, yeah, you always do well in the beginning of the season, right? You do good up until the end of the year and then the playoffs, right? And so if you want to silence people, you want to silence the doubters, like this is where you got to show up and you gotta ball out.
Yep.
And the Ravens need to stick to their game plan. Whenever they lose, it's because they're passing too much.
Yep.
Like if they have 30 or more rushing attempts, like whether that's Lamar's rushing attempts, that's Derrick Henry's, they win the game most of the time. If they have less than that, they have a really bad win percentage. And I don't know why they go away from their game plan. And so against the Steelers team, like you saw exactly how you could beat them today. And so I think you go right at them. I think that Lamar Jackson has to prove like why he deserves that big contract, why he deserves to be in the MVP conversation. It's gonna be a great game though. It's Saturday. It's a Saturday game, by the way, for people. If you don't know, it's on Saturday. It's on Netflix, I'm pretty sure. So
it's on Saturday. Check it out. Gonna be a great game. Big Z wrapping up the next week of NFL. Vikes, Hawks, Niners, Dolphins, Bucks, Cowboys. Which game do you like the most?
I think Bucks, Cowboys. I think that's gonna be a shootout.
Oh, dude, same.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a fun watch. Like if you have
100%.
fantasy guys in those, like on either side, I think it's just gonna be like your team is just gonna be super successful if you have any of those players. That's gonna be fun.
Cooper Rush is sizzling. He is sizzling.
I mean, last week, I like people are like, you got to put Trey Lance in. No, Trey Lance sucks, dude. Like Cooper Rush is definitely like he's not Dak. He's not your first string quarterback, but like he's doing well. Like give him his love. You look good today.
I did put that on our Twitter today. The video of the dude, I forgot his name, and I shouted him out on YouTube. I did shout him out. I copied it from his page. Like I went to his page to find his video so that I could give him his due credit, because I want to get it from the source, where he's like the quarterback watching like his backup. He's like, oh yeah, good pass. And you're like, oh, this guy's perfect though. He's like, I don't know if he's perfect, but there's like a whole video. Go check out our Twitter. It's pretty funny. But Dak's got to be sweating a little bit. I mean, Cooper Rush is balling, and this is going to be a shootout. I can't wait.
He's good.
But the Hawks are going to lose to the Vikings. That's already done. So, Niners, Dolphins. No. Bucks, Cowboys.
I'll watch it. As a Niner fan, I'll watch it, of course. But like,
it's gonna be you and a couple other Niner fans, and then maybe the few Dolphin fans.
That's the thing though, with Niner fans though, like we're not like these. Like we stay on the wagon. Like like, all good. I grew up with Tim Rattay as my quarterback, bro. 2-win teams for multiple years in a row, and it made me love him. Okay, so
that's how we get along. I just went to a Kings game the other day. I went to a Kings game, LA Kings hockey, one of my very favorite teams in the whole world. I have my Dusty Brown jersey on from back in the day.
Yeah.
Literally, when you get an older guy compliment your jersey, like just a dude, like a seasoned dude.
Yeah.
He's like, that's a beautiful jersey, man. I like that jersey. I was like, yeah, that's right, baby. He knew and I knew. That jersey was from when we sucked. We're terrible. We're not good. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Right along. Playoff picture, Kansas City's clinched. Buffalo Bills clinched. Steelers clinched. Houston clinched. The Ravens are in the hunt at 95. Broncos are in the hunt at 95. Chargers in the hunt at 8-6. Colts, Miami, and the Bengals 6-8. 2 games back. They're hoping the Chargers lose. They basically need help, right? If the Chargers win even one more game, it'd be very, very difficult to see how the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Bengals could come back. Technically, mathematically, they could end with 9 wins, but they also need the Chargers to lose out, basically. So,
yeah,
it is what it is.
It's gonna be interesting for sure.
NFC is wide freaking open. The Detroit Lions and the Eagles are the only 2 teams that have clinched at 12-2. They are tied in the NFC with the best record. Tampa Bay 8-6. Los Angeles Rams with the Seahawks loss are in at 8-6. The Minnesota Vikings are the first wild card. I know it sounds weird, but in the NFL, if you didn't already know, division leaders get in no matter what, and then the 2 wild cards follow them. The Vikings at 11-2, Packers at 10-4, Commanders at 9-5. That is your last 3 teams in the wild card in the hunt. Right behind them, Seattle Seahawks 8-6, Arizona Cardinals 7-7, Falcons 6-7, Niners 6-8, Dallas 6-8, and the Saints, who just lost 5-8, 5 and 9 are not mathematically eliminated, but are basically eliminated. Really, you got to hope the Commanders lose a couple games to have any sort of shot.
Yeah.
if you don't at least have 7 wins. I think the bubble really probably ends around the Cardinals and the Seahawks, but we'll see how that goes. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. The NFC West is going to keep beating each other up. So
down to the wire it goes. Let's talk about it, Big Z. The reason everybody came because we keep giving them great fantasy football advice. We keep it short, we keep it brief because honestly, a lot of times the experts are wrong. Okay, I listened to all the experts this week, and I shouldn't have. One of the best things I've done this year is not listen to the experts, and this week I did. All right, and everybody told me that Kyler Murray was a better start than Baker Mayfield. That was horribly wrong.
No,
that was terribly wrong.
No,
and I did it. And it was stupid. And when I did it, I literally said, I'm being stupid right now. This is way too cute. This is a stupid move. And I did it. And luckily in that league, it doesn't look like it's going to cost me. It looks like I'm going to be okay. But it was just so maddening to sit there and watch Baker go off for 35. And I was like, oh my God, he's on my bench. And if I played him, it would for sure be over. No doubt.
Yeah,
it's pretty over right now, but it would for sure be over. No doubt. But last week I did nail it. I said, JSN, he's going to continue his hot streak. You're not slowing him down, and JSN continues to roll. I think he's the wide receiver number 6 or number 5 on the year. He's continuing to roll. He's got a great connection with Geno Smith. I will say, if Geno misses time, that's going to be tough moving forward. Keep an eye on it. It's the reason he's not going to be my start of next week. Big Z, who was your dude of the week last week? Did you nail it?
I think it was Bucky, and he got
hurt.
Bucky,
and he got hurt.
Ooh. So I mean, today he looked good again. Like he looked way more explosive than White. So just injuries. He's been dealing with a back thing. Probably should have looked more into that. But he left the game like in the first quarter. So technically I was wrong. This week, I'm in one of my redraft leagues, and this is a defense. So I've been rolling with the Denver Broncos defense all year.
There you go.
And they're like, I think 2nd overall. And this week I was like, okay, they're going to play the Colts, like potentially. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. So I picked up the Commanders defense on the waivers this week. I'm in the playoffs.
Yep.
And the Commanders, I mean, they had a decent game, 12 points, right? So, but the Broncos had 26 points on defense. And if I had started them, I'd be in my matchup right now because I'm going into tomorrow down 34 points, and I have Darnell Mooney and Keenan Allen left, and he has Hawkinson. So there is a chance, but I would have had a way better chance if I had started the team that I've been rolling with, the Denver Broncos defense. So shame on me.
Moral stories don't get cute, okay? Like that. Don't get cute. It's the worst thing ever. And the teams that I'm about to be out on are all teams that got cute at some point. I listened to the guys, and a lot of times, a lot of these fantasy podcasts, all of these guys, they get up, they watch film, whatever it is, and they get so caught up in the players that they like, and the guy, this guy could be this, and he's just this play away from making this, and he's so close to being right there. And no. This is the guy who does it. He's already shown us he can do it. That's why I'm taking that guy. That's what I should have done. It's not what I did. For me, the guy that I'm looking for next week to have a big old week. We already talked about the matchup. We love it. We love it. We love it. I think the Bucks and the Cowboys is going to be an absolute shootout. So Mike Evans is going to have a massive week. They're going to have the score. He's ageless. It's going to be a great week. If you got Mike Evans, go ahead and start him. He killed it for you this week as well. Put him in there with all the confidence next week. Big Z, who are you excited to start next week?
I'm going Devonta Smith. This week, I think it proves like A.J. Brown's little tiff with Hurts. It's over the hill now. They're good. So when A.J. Brown is a weapon, when people have to really focus and double team him because they know that he has the right mindset that he wants to go and destroy you, that's when Devonta Smith can come up and produce for you, right? And so after this week, they both went off. I think Devonta Smith goes off. They're playing the Commanders. We talked about it. And again, like this is a good number 2, right? And so if you can have him, put him in your lineup. Don't shy away from him. He's going to go off again next week.
100%. Oh, I love that call. That's a good one. I have him in one of my teams that I should win. Dud of the week, Walker. I nailed it. He got hurt. I told you to stay away from him. I told you the knee was worse because that week, if we recall, it was like, oh no, he's going to play. He's like limited participant. I was like, no, I wouldn't play him. And then about 10 minutes before game time, I'm like, nope, he's not playing. So nailed it. You're welcome. Big Z, who did you call out for being a dud last time?
Breece Hall.
Yep.
Breece Hall.
Yep. Sucks. Nailed it. He was fine today, but it wasn't any kind of top 10 performance. If you played, it wasn't. If you played Dowdle, you were way better off. So that is not
Right.
something we thought at the start of the year, just to give you perspective. My debt of the week moving forward next week. I know what you're thinking. It doesn't seem that obvious, but let me just say there's somebody out there who's thinking about getting cute. I'll tell you why they're thinking about getting cute. Do not start Caleb Williams. And I know why you're thinking about getting cute. You're thinking the Lions defense just got carved up by the Bills. They've gotten carved up a few times now recently. They're pretty injured. They're on like their third middle linebacker. They're on their secondary cornerbacks, the whole 9 yards. And you're thinking Caleb just hung 26 on them just less than 2 weeks ago. The Lions are going to come out angry. If you don't know anything about Dan Campbell, that team is going to be biting kneecaps of the next team they play. And unfortunately, that's going to be the Bears. Do not start Caleb Williams. Big Z, who's your dud of the week next week?
Don't go Jameis Winston. I know we love him. He's playing Cincinnati, who doesn't have a good defense, but Jameis Winston got benched today against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust him if you're at that point. It's gonna be the semifinals for the playoffs. If you have any other quarterback that's gotten you further, or and been successful for you in your season, stay away from Jameis. Like, we love him as a person, but stay away from him.
That is a bold call, Big Z. That is a bold call. I guarantee every fantasy podcast you listen to is going to be saying, start Jameis with confidence, but not here, not at Brevity. We give you the scoop. Big Z, I got to ask you before we move off fantasy football, how are you doing in your playoffs?
All right. So in the Brevity League, I got to buy. So good thing I did, because Brock didn't have a good game.
Yeah.
But hey, that's why that's why it's advantageous to get it by, because that could happen, right?
100%.
Yeah. So I did it. I talked about in the redraft league, I'm in a quarterfinals, still have a chance to win. But Darnell Mooney and Keenan Allen have to go off for me, and Hawkinson has to be shut down. So I don't know. We'll see. So the rest of my team, though, it's one of those losses where I'm not going to be upset, because the rest of my team, besides the Manders defense, did really well. His team just went off. So you can't really do too much. I didn't really make too many wrong start decisions besides the defense. So if I lose, I lose, and it is what I'm not going to be too upset about it. So that's where it's at in those two leagues.
So for me, it's exactly the same. I'm not going to be mad in Brevity. I lost to James. It's already done. He's got 144, and he still has somebody to go.
Oh, Devontae.
It just matters that I played Devontae and Evans.
Yeah.
So those two guys to combine put up 75 points for him. I still put up a very respectable 130. I think in most matchups that probably gets a W. And more than that, I'm really excited for my team. So Garrett Wilson, Kyron Williams, JSN, all very young receivers, and Nakua. And I have them moving forward. This is not a redraft league. James Cook looks fantastic. I really believe in Bo Nix. So the sky's the limit. I think the oldest guy I have on my roster right now is Saquon Barkley. And based on what we've seen this year, I think he's going to be just fine today. Apparently, he went to the injury tent, so that does make me feel a little bit better about the crap performance that he put out. But, obviously, if he had a normal day, would have been a little bit closer. But, hey, it's all good. We're not here to do that. Respect to him. He went off. I'm actually in another league with Jason, the showman, the Strowman. And in that league, me and this guy, honestly, it's a bummer that we had to play each other in the first round. So he has 136. He has Aaron Jones, and he's got Aaron Jones, and there's one, and DJ Moore. So he's got Aaron Jones and DJ Moore left to go. And I have TJ Hawkinson left. I'm up 172 to 136. I mean, my whole team went off. Jaden Daniels, Chase Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, JSN, Puka, and Mike Evans, and the Kansas City Chiefs defense all killed it. So I should win. I'm very much supposed to win. And at this point, I'll be 2-4 more than likely. So in my other league, unless my defense really goes off, which I doubt, honestly, I made a trade earlier on the year, and CeeDee Lamb did pay off, but I traded away too much depth. So at the time, this is where, if you're listening to this podcast, sometimes you get a little bit greedy. I'm not going to lie. So at the time, I had too many running backs. I thought there's no way this could go wrong. I had J.K. Dobbins. I had Kenneth Walker. I had Breece Hall. And then I had James Cook. And so I looked at those 4 running backs, and I was like, certainly this is only one flex, right? So I didn't need 4 running backs. So my receivers are also, I had Terry McLaurin. I had some good receivers. So I made a trade, James Cook and Devontae Adams for CeeDee Lamb. When Devontae Adams was doing nothing, it was basically James Cook, and maybe Devontae Adams pays off for CeeDee Lamb. And obviously now J.K. Dobbins is out. Walker's out, and Brees looks like a shell of himself. So I traded away the best running back that would have been on my team at this point.
Yeah.
Be careful with the way you trade kids, but hey, 2 for 4, 50% going to the semifinals. It's not bad, right?
It's not bad. It's not bad.
We'll take
It's
it.
good. Yeah.
We'll take it. College football, Big Z. Hunter gets the Heisman. Dude did it. He did it, Big Z. I don't like it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of wanted it to be Genty.
Why?
I thought the yards that he got were amazing, and I really do believe, and this is the problem, I understood why they did it. He would have broke Barry Sanders' record if they just would have not sat him. But I get why they did it. They didn't need to win. They didn't need to. But if he breaks Barry Sanders' record, he gets the Heisman. So really, I mean, technically his team cost him, but I mean, ultimately it's probably best for his health. But
I mean, he had a great like, this is no hate against him. Like he had a great season. They both were
amazing. They both were amazing.
He had a great season. I just think that what Hunter did, playing almost all the snaps, both on defense, both on offense, leading his team in touchdowns, as an offensive player besides quarterback, obviously being second in the country in reception touchdowns as a wide receiver, and also being a great cornerback, 4 interceptions, bunch like 32 pass breakups, and just being able to play at a high level on both sides of the ball. Like we've never seen that before. And he played better competition than Genty did. Like if you had to like really look at it, he played harder teams than Genty did. And so I think what really cost Genty is that there were a lot of the voters cast first place votes for Ward from Miami, and then the guy from the quarterback from Oregon. And I think if you combine those guys' first place votes and you would have put on Genty, he would have won as well. And so like I think Ward of the Oregon quarterback had any like why would he place first place votes on those guys? Like, no offense, but like come on. And so I think that that's also like a factor in that. But both guys, I mean, were
both guys incredible. It was clearly between them two. It is interesting that first place votes went to anyone else because it was a 2-horse race.
Exactly. So congratulations to both. Like Genty like has now a chip on his shoulder. He gets to prove it in the playoffs, which is awesome. And Travis Hunter, like we're gonna see. I'm really interested to see how his NFL career develops and see what he does.
You also got to wonder, what is he gonna do in the NFL? No way he's two-way in the NFL.
He said he's going to, but I don't think
there's no way. That's
his speech was cool though. About his dad.
That was cool. Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. By the way, the playoffs start on the 20th. So don't miss out. That is this Friday. We are recording this on a Sunday night. The episode's probably going to come out tomorrow, I imagine, at some point. So this Friday, okay, the 20th, it is going to start Indiana Notre Dame at 5 p.m. That is going to be the first game. It's going to be a good one. And then it continues that next Saturday. SMU, Penn State, as well as Clemson and Texas, Tennessee, and Ohio State. So be tuned into college football this weekend. It's here. I know it seems fast, but with all the bracket play, it's going to happen very quickly. So keep it up. We'll try to keep you updated as much as possible. But the first games are already here. Big Z, you excited for the college playoffs?
Oh, I'm excited. First year it's been like this. It's expanded playoffs. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited that it's gonna be like a home field. Right? Like you're gonna have a home field scenario here.
Yes.
In college football, like you got home field advantage. Like they're, at some places. I'm just super pissed off about Oregon seed. Like they got the number 1 seed, but they're gonna play Georgia or Tennessee. Whoever wins out of those two. That sucks for Oregon, but it is what it is. Lots of bias, in that committee, but whatever.
Tennessee or Ohio State.
Yeah.
And they barely escaped Ohio State.
Right.
So
it'll be fun though. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, man. It evolves the college game for sure. Like it's gonna get people to tune in.
I mean, but you got to think. I mean, there's a chance Boise State plays Penn State. Like that's the nice thing about these top 12 teams is I don't know that it matters, man. Like Georgia's either playing Indiana or Notre Dame. Those are no slouches. Obviously, they're hoping for Indiana, right?
Yeah.
We've seen Indiana get blown out at a point during the season. Boise State's got to be hoping for SMU. I think Oregon is hoping for Tennessee because Ohio State did give them everything they could handle and more.
Right.
I think Arizona State is terrified of both Clemson and Texas. So we'll see what happens. We'll see the way it goes. But I am very excited to see it. NHL Ovechkin is back, so I have not been ignoring the Ovechkin news. He got injured. He's now back. He's practicing with his team, so we'll keep you updated with his quest to break the Gretzky record. But for you hockey fans, I just want to show you some love. We're almost halfway through, right? So wherever your team is, this is we're starting to see the playoff picture shape out a little bit, right? Yeah. Obviously, we have quite a few games to go. They've only played about 30 games, 82 games in a season, so they got a little bit more than halfway to go. But again, if your team is sitting here right now with 30 points, 25 points,
right?
Not great, right? Not great. So you want to be in the upper 30s, right? You don't want to be in the 25 to the 30 area. That if you're there, the Nashville Predators, the Anaheim Ducks, and the Blackhawks are between 22 to 26. Worst teams in the West, 25 to 28 in the East. Detroit Red Wings, Buffalo Sabres, Montreal, Canadiens, Florida Panthers, Big Z. They're hanging tight. Number 5. Just giving you an update on your team.
Yeah,
38 points. They're right there. And of course, my LA Kings.
They look good.
Number 4. We look fantastic. Look fantastic.
Yep.
We're going to compete. And hopefully we're not going to play the Oilers in the first freaking round. Nothing new to report to you in the MLB. But Big Z, just before we end the podcast, I just want to talk about it. I just want to touch on it, Big Z. NBA, I'm going to be honest with you. The reason this caught my attention, I'll be completely honest. Transparency, that's what we bring to the table, and we never keep brevity. 2 things we promise you. Transparency and never keeping it brevity. I have not watched much NBA. And I'll be honest with you why, in my opinion, I haven't. Not my opinion. This is why I haven't, okay? I have not watched the NBA because there's not a reason for me to turn on the NBA. And what I mean by that is when I've watched baseball, man, I watched more baseball this season and more random games than I ever have because all the storylines. Ooh, Skeens, he's pitching today for the Pirates. Ooh, boy. Ooh, Juan Soto and Aaron Judge and Stan are playing today for the Yankees, and they're playing Bobby Witt Jr. Ooh, that's going to be crazy. Oh, Dodgers. I can't wait to watch Shohei and Mookie and Freddie. Are they going to be as good as everybody wants them to be? Ooh, the Padres. Their fans love them. It's one of the most electric playoff atmospheres in all of the game. Are they going to make it there? Are they going to be relevant? There's a million storylines out there. There's so many storylines, so many MVP races. The Shohei doing the 50 for 50 club, all the stuff that he did, it was absolutely insane. Guys having stellar seasons. There's so many reasons to turn on the TV. And in the NBA, I feel like you got your same guys, right? LeBron is dominating on some level or another. Okay, I know I missed some time, but now he's back. Kevin Durant, still one of the greatest shooters in the league, right?
Yeah.
And then, name that next guy. Steph Curry, I'm sure he has the Warriors competing on some level. Ant is trying to grow into a superstar, but he just can't get his team, over the hump. The Phillies, Philadelphia, they're big. Embiid is injured again.
Yep.
And then there's always this load management stuff. And so there's not a reason when I look at the TV, right? I'll watch college basketball before I do because I'll see, ooh, Duke is playing Gonzaga. Whoa. These are 2 teams that play college basketball they play basketball the right way. I'm going to check this. Ooh, Duke is playing UNC. Ooh, UNC is playing, whatever, Tennessee. Ooh, Kentucky and Kansas, looks like they're actually going to be what everybody wants them to be every year. Dominating fools. Like, there's a bunch of reasons to turn on the TV, Big Z. To me, I just haven't found that reason to turn on the NBA.
Yeah, and in addition to all the really great points that you laid out and why I've it's on sometimes, because it's just basketball, right? So I enjoy basketball. But in addition to that, to me, like today's NBA, it just is not good basketball. It is just clearly how many threes can each team throw up there and how many of them can they make? That is truly what it is. You cannot tell me that, fine. I'm sure that these head coaches are scheming stuff like to get guys open on the 3-point line, but it does not look like it. It looks like these guys are playing a pickup game at the park and just running back and forth. The other night, I think it was the Hornets and the Bulls. There was 73 missed 3-point shots between the 2 teams. Who wants to pay top dollar to go see those teams in an arena? I don't. I want to actually watch real basketball. I miss the early 2000s, the 90s, when there was actual offense being run, and they actually ran offense for the whole 24-second shot clock. And there was actually off-ball movement, screening away, passing the ball to guys in the key, big men utilizing the paint and dominating the paint. These days, it's just how many threes can I jack up? Even the big men are shooting threes, and it's just super annoying to me. There is no fundamentals in the NBA anymore. If you have kids, and you want them to actually watch basketball and learn from basketball, I've said this before, I'll say it again, I stand by it 1000%. Have them watch college basketball, because all those guys are in it for the team, and the coaches are there in it for the school. The school is bigger than them, right? And they actually play good basketball. They game plan around different schemes, different offenses, zone defense, man defense, all this stuff. NBA, it's all about me, and right. How can we look flashy and sell more stuff, sell more advertisement dollars and sell more TV deals? That's all it is. They just cannot figure it out, and their ratings are down because of it. So That's my opinion on it. I love your takes. I think it all goes together and why they are failing right now.
And by the way, if anybody thinks we're just spewing hate, their average ratings right now, I'm reading this on Basketball Network, 11.64 million viewers for their finals the last couple of years, the average, and obviously it's well below the MLB. So MLB is going the right way. I'm obviously a big MLB guy. I love it. I love all the teams. I love all the storylines. And actually, I wish I could share my screen like you shared your screen, because there's like a really cool thing I found. And literally, it shows from 2001 to 2002 versus 2019 to 2020 where the shots were taken. And there's like a little section. If you're on YouTube, there's like this big of a section right next to the basket, and then all threes in 2019 and 20. 2001, 2002, it's just like spread out. It's just all over the place. Shots were retaken everywhere. But yeah, no, 100%. There's a lot there. And look, I'm not going to change. I wish that I could tell you that, you know what? After seeing this, I'm going to go support the NBA.
They're fun in the playoffs.
Give a reason,
because like that's actual basketball.
Yeah,
like in the
playoffs.
Yeah, well, yeah, but like they're a playoff sport. Like we turn
and
also,
in like everybody plays.
That's when it gets interesting.
Everybody plays the playoffs. Yeah, it's not like I turn on TV and it's like, oh, this guy's sitting load management. Oh boy, here we go. Anywho, this has been fun, Big Z. I had a blast. You have fun, Big Z?
I had fun, like always, man. Don't even ask me that.
Had a boy.
Just assume, bro.
Say bye to the people, Big Z. Say bye to them.
People, have a good week. We love you guys. Hope you guys like this new style, this new format. Fredo came up with it. So yeah, hope you guys have a great week. Please comment with us. We'd love to interact with you guys.
Comment, share, tell your friends, all the things. We love you. Brevity Sports, we'll keep coming at you. And if you hate it, if you like us on Fridays, tell us. We're open. We'll do either one. We just wanted to see. Maybe you'd appreciate us on Mondays. Let us know in the comments. Have a great night, great day, wherever you're listening. Keep